Welcome everybody. I hope you all doing great. Today's video is titled Short Bitcoin Using ETFs. I'm going to cover what exactly I'm doing right now by shorting Bitcoin with ETFs. This is not financial advice, obviously. I have a thesis, I have a plan, and that's what I want to present to you guys in this video. So let's start right away with the Bitcoin chart. And this is the weekly chart of Bitcoin, why I want to short Bitcoin. Usually you should not short Bitcoin. It's not a great advice, but we are in the bear market. And since October of 2025, we have been going down for Bitcoin. That's represented here in this yellow box. For a detailed explanation of the 4-year cycles and why I believe that the end of the bear market will be around October of 2026, look in the channel and find the video that says 183 days to the bottom, and that will explain everything. But a big summary here is that this box covers up till October 2026, and I believe that the price of Bitcoin will bottom in that month, and that's why I'm shorting Bitcoin with ETFs. Now we are the 9th of April 2026. Why I didn't short the market since October of 2025? Well, that was a mistake from my part. I knew that based on the 4-year cycles, the top would be around October, November 2026. That was the data. That was the previous 8 years of data for Bitcoin indicating, and I missed it. I didn't follow it. And I missed all this drop in Bitcoin. If I had my short positions there, I would have made a great deal of money, but I didn't. I was caught in the narrative like everybody else. Super cycle, we're not correcting, it's completely different, no. So this time around, I'm applying the 4-year cycle theory, and we should either trade sideways or down for Bitcoin, and most probably down up until October 2026. This is my thesis. It's not financial advice like I indicated, and it represents what I'm going to do. So I looked through the internet and found 3 ETFs that you can use that short Bitcoin. Okay. I'm going to share a bunch of numbers here. 3 ETFs that I have to say were not available in 2022. These tools have been added recently because of the adoption of Bitcoin, because of the IBIT ETF from BlackRock. There's a bunch of different tools now available for people, including ETFs to short the market. So I had 3 choices. I analyzed all 3 of them and decided to invest in 2 of them. And I'll explain why. The first one is this one. Is the ticker is SBIT, is the ProShares UltraShort Bitcoin ETF. And I'm going to give you the stats since the 2nd of January 2026. This is the performance. I didn't do the calculations from October 2025. It would have been better, I guess. But these are the performance for the ProShare is SBIT UltraShort Bitcoin ETF. If you had invested $10,000 in this ETF, you would have had capital gains of $2,222, and you would have, during that period up until now, a distribution of $411 for a total amount, when you combine the two, of $2,634. So that's a 26% return during this bear market. So short ETFs are what? Short ETFs go up when Bitcoin goes down. And these ETFs will go down when Bitcoin goes up. So they are inverse of what Bitcoin is doing. This is the first one, SBIT, plus 26% since the 2nd of January 2026. The second ETF is the YieldMax MSTR Short Option Income Strategy ETF. The ticker is WNTR. This one, the stats, give me 2 seconds. If you invested $10,000, you lost $1,351 in terms of price appreciation, but you got distributions of $1,827. When you combine the two, you get $476 in profits with a return of 4.7%. So while Bitcoin corrected quite a lot, this ETF generated plus 4.7% returns. This one generated $1,827 in distributions. That's important. The previous one was $411 in distributions. And finally, the other ETF that I'm including in this analysis is the YieldMax Short Coin, which is Coinbase Option Income Strategy ETF. The ticker is FIAT. This one, if you invest in $10,000, you lost $323 in terms of value of your shares, but you got distributions of $1,900 since the 2nd of January 2026. That's a profit of $1,577. That's 15.7%. So, which ETFs did I choose? The two ETFs that I chose are WNTR and FIAT, simply because I want distributions, high distributions, and not necessarily price appreciation, because I want distributions to build up my portfolio at this stage. If you don't want too much distributions and you just want price appreciation, you can use the ProShares SBIT UltraShort Bitcoin ETF. That, yes, pays a little bit of dividends, but not as much, and you get a lot of price appreciation. It's really, really up to you. My focus was on getting distributions and then deciding what to do with it. That's what I decided to do. So now let's have a look at the stocks that are going to be short in order to do that. So WNTR from YieldMax uses a stock that is called MSTR, which is strategy. This is the chart of strategy. WNTR ETF, what it will do is when the value of MSTR goes down, WNTR ETF will go up. And on a weekly basis, you will get distribution based on the volatility of what happened that week. The more the price moves up and down, the bigger distributions you will get. That's pretty much what you need to know in terms of that ETF. Like I indicated, I believe that Bitcoin will continue down up until the month of October 2026. But there's also another variable here that comes into play in terms of strategy. Strategy is a company that is issuing a lot of shares to raise cash to buy more Bitcoin. That's what it's doing right now. And when it issues shares, it's diluting a little bit the value of the ETF, but on the long term, it will be accretive to the stockholders, meaning that issuing shares to raise cash to buy more Bitcoin when Bitcoin will go up, and that will happen post October 2026 from my analysis, not financial advice, then all the shares that they issued currently, once the price rises above the current price in terms of shares, then the Bitcoin value will go up, the amount of Bitcoin that they have in their balance sheet will go up, and then that value will be transferred to the holders of MSTR. So if you're shorting the stock, obviously you don't want the price to go up in terms of strategy. So I plan to hold WNTR to short strategy up until October. After that time, I will switch to ETFs that do not short anymore, but that are long, meaning that they will go up when the price of MSTR goes up. Another thing that you need to be aware, Bitcoin is quite volatile. If you invest in strategy, it is 1.5 to 2 times more volatile than Bitcoin. Okay, so you get even more volatility than just investing in Bitcoin. So it's not for everybody. Okay, and because these ETFs, their distributions are linked with the volatility, the more volatile MSTR is, the more distributions you get every week. And I'm planning on all kinds of variation in prices as long as that over time, up until October 2026, the price of strategy goes down. So there's a little bit of down pressure because they're issuing a lot of shares to buy more Bitcoin, but eventually this will stop and it will reverse, and then you need to stop doing that, meaning holding those ETFs that short MSTR. If you look at the chart, you see here that the 50 weekly EMA is going down. So the momentum for MSTR is still down. It's normal. We are in the bear market. We seem to have found some kind of floor, but I believe that will go down a little bit still up until October 2026. And that's why I'm shorting MSTR with WNTR ETF up until then. At the end of the video, I'll state what the percentage of shares that I'm going to be, that I have invested, because I did this 2 days ago. And so stay tuned to the end of the video. You will know my proportions of my portfolio that are either in WNTR and in FIAT, which is the second ETF that I'm going to talk about. So that was the thesis in terms of strategy. By using WNTR, I'm shorting strategy, and indirectly I'm shorting Bitcoin. Okay, that's what you need to know. The other ETF is linked to the stock that is Coinbase. Coinbase is a platform, a crypto platform that sells all kinds of assets, okay, including Bitcoin, but also is a custodian for many, many, many companies. Custodian means that it's the company responsible for holding the Bitcoin in a secure way for those companies. Coinbase is quite a bit used by many, many companies, many institutions, many banks that hold Bitcoin. I'm using the YieldMax Short Coin Option Income Strategy ETF, FIAT, to short Bitcoin. So by shorting Coinbase, indirectly, I'm shorting Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down, normally Coinbase will follow. and that will trigger down pressure, which will be up pressure in terms of value for the ETFs. I'm going to show you right now. It's the same theory as MSTR linked to WNTR. It is exactly the same thing, the same premise. When Bitcoin goes down, Coinbase goes down. And if Coinbase goes down, FIAT will go up. And the more it varies, you see quite a lot of variability here for Coinbase during this period. We're looking at 2026. So it's from the top here, you see. From this was the beginning of the bear market, and we came all the way down. So this is from 448 up to 175. So quite a big drop in price for Coinbase. So the volatility is linked to the amount of distributions that I could get in terms of FIAT once I invest in those ETFs. Now, I will go and show you the charts for these ETFs. This is what we have. I'm going to expand this a little bit so that you can see a little more. Whoops. This is the weekly chart. Let's put it on this. Okay. Okay, so you see here the beginning of January was, what is it here? We have trended down. That's why the ETF is negative in terms of value, minus $1,351. But what the price action here does not show is the distributions, and the distributions bring you +4, meaning that you are in profits in terms of yield because of the distributions that you get with this ETF. I'm going to show you quickly the one that I didn't choose, which is SBIT, the ProShares ETF. Okay, and you see here, if you invested on the 2nd of January, you bought it here around $38, and now it's trading at 50. But this one, you see here on the bottom, has fewer distributions. Therefore, you don't get as much more income coming into your account. That's why I didn't choose this one. But effectively, this is the best one in order to get general returns. The next time around, for the next bear market, I will use a proportion of SBIT, WNTR, and FIAT. Probably a third, 33% of each for my position. And then I will be able to ride all the way down the price of Bitcoin with these ETFs. I will get price appreciation with SBIT and weekly distributions with WNTR and FIAT. That would probably is going to be my strategy next time around. Okay, let's go back to WNTR. Like indicated, you lost a little bit of value in terms of the share price, but you gain in terms of distributions. So what I decided is that out of the whole portfolio that I have, WNTR will be 28% of my portfolio. So it's quite a bit, because portion of my portfolio that is invested in Bitcoin related stocks and ETFs is roughly around 40%. That's my portfolio. It should not be an example. I like the volatility. I have very big conviction in terms of Bitcoin. Therefore, my portfolio has that big chunk in there. 28% of the short position is going to be placed in WNTR. And then finally, to conclude the video, this is FIAT, the YieldMax short coin option ETF. Here, the 2nd of January, we're here, and then we're almost even. We were a little bit below. Now we're coming back a little bit in terms of price action. So we're pretty much even in terms of share price, but we got $1,900 in terms of distributions. Therefore, we are 15% or so in profits during since the beginning of January 2026 if you were shorting Bitcoin during that period of time. And that you see here, the distributions are very, very close to each other because this is a weekly paying ETF. This portion of the portfolio will be 12%. So 28% for WNTR, 12% for FIAT. Combined, it's 40% of my portfolio shorting Bitcoin and Bitcoin related stocks, MicroStrategy, MSTR, and Coinbase with this one, with FIAT. 28%, 12%, that gives you 40%. And I will hold these two ETFs up until October of 2026. Disclaimer: I am not a financial advisor. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as financial investment or trading advice. All investments include risk, and you should do your own research or consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. Invest at your own risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. In October 2026, probably the first week or something, I'm going to switch probably 50% of my position, meaning 14% of the value of WNTR and 6% of FIAT will automatically be shifted to a long ETF that I will discuss which ones I will use. I will study them. Until then, most probably there will going to be weekly paying ETFs. I already have candidates, but I'll cover that in a video in the future. In October 2026, I'll share that with you guys. So I'll switch 50% of my position initially, and after that, every week I will probably cut down 10% in 5 tranches, meaning 5 weeks. So first week of October, 50% switch, then switch 10% on the second week, third week, fourth week of October, 10%, and the last week potentially is going to be the first week of November 2026. And at that time, I will no longer have short positions in Bitcoin and strategy, MSTR, Coinbase related stocks. This is my strategy. This is my plan. I plan to do this up until October 2026 in order to verify this theory that the lowest price for Bitcoin in this bear market will happen somewhere in October of 2026. We'll see. I have quite a big conviction in terms of that, but obviously I don't know what the future holds, what's going to happen from now, April 2026 up until October 2026 is very difficult to determine what will happen, but I have conviction in my plan, set up the plan, and now I will track this down. Hopefully, I will make some money on this trade, but for now, that is the plan, and I wanted to share it with you guys. In October, I'll tell you exactly what ETFs I will decide to use. Is it going to be 1, 2, or 3? It will be similar in terms of strategy, meaning that I would like ETFs that pay distributions, but I may choose one potentially that is going to be similar to SBIT, that is going to be more price appreciation, less distribution, and 2 others that are going to give me weekly distributions that I can use to accumulate distributions and deploy it in order to grow my portfolio. So, trying to extract as much value out of the Bitcoin cycles. This is the theory. This is what I'm doing. It's not financial advice. It's not for everybody. And I hope you learn a little bit now how we can short Bitcoin if you want or if you have a plan for a window of time where you think the price of Bitcoin will go down, this is the right strategy, in my opinion, to get income and capital gains to build your position in terms of Bitcoin. Happy investing, everybody. Ciao, ciao.